So join me in prayer. Let's just close our eyes if you're comfortable and just dropping into our heart, taking a deep breath and just feeling the presence of that light, of that love, feeling the energy and the essence of spirit. I'm knowing that that powerful force of God, that powerful force of love and light surrounds each one of us, no matter where we are on this planet. We are surrounded by that light. We are lifted up by that light. We are healed by that presence and by that light. I am knowing that each one of us is receiving the exact thing that we need from the universe, from that presence, that we are guided in every which way is absolutely perfect for us. I'm knowing that Jenny's talk, as she talks about our G.P.S. system, as she talks about our internal guidance system, I am knowing that each of us are surrounded, are lifted up, are guided by that presence and by that power that always knows exactly what each of us needs, always knows exactly what direction to point us toward. We are supported by that presence always. And so with gratitude for this truth, gratitude for all that is coming to each of us, gratitude for our path that we are on, the journey that we are walking, I am knowing that we are given everything that we need, whether we can identify it or not, that we are all receiving exactly what we need to support us on this path and on this earthly walk. And so with gratitude, so much gratitude in our hearts for this time together, for this time to connect in, for this time to drop deeper into our heart, for this time to receive. We allow ourselves, we open ourselves to receive all that is coming through the beautiful music, through the beautiful message delivered by Reverend Jenny. We just open ourselves and know that we are going to receive the exact perfect words, perfect insights, perfect revelations for our life. And so with that, we release this, we allow it to be, we trust the unending flow of spirit that always says yes. Taking one last deep breath, we hand it over. We let it go, and together we say, and so it is. Amen.
And so it is. Well, for the G.P.S. talk, I figured I'd sing a song about finding your way in the darkness. Finding, lights to guide your way when you're not sure. This song's called Go Light Your World. It's by Chris Rice. There is a candle in every soul, all brightly burning. It makes us whole. There is a spirit who brings a fire, ignites a candle, and makes its home. So carry your candle, run to the darkness, seek out the helpless, the confused and torn. Hold out your candle for all to see it. Take your candle and go light your world. Take your candle and go light your world. You are my brother, we walk together. We are all sisters. I take your hand. We are a family whose hearts are blazing. So let's raise our candles and light up the sky. So carry your candle, candle, run to the darkness, seek out the lonely, the tired and worn. Hold out your candle for all to see it. Take your candle, go light your world. Take your candle, go light your world. We are a family whose hearts are blazing. So let's raise our candles and light up the sky. So carry your candle, run to the darkness, and seek out the lonely, the tired and worn. Hold out your candle for all to see it. Take your candle and go light your world. Take your candle and go light your world. Take your candle and go light your world.
Awesome song, Jimmy. That's perfect. I'm going to light my candle and put it right here. Sometimes, the musicians just say it all, and I feel like we can just go home. Oh, what a great morning. I'm so glad to be with you here this morning. And so let's just take that message from Jimmy's music into our hearts and harmonize our hearts together as we do every time we come together by repeating these words: care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Well, for the past few weeks, we've been exploring pausing for guidance. It's been the theme this month of August. And really, we've been exploring taking time to pause, to rest, to rejuvenate, and to access our inner guidance in order to prepare for the next steps on our spiritual journey. We've been encouraged in these past few weeks to welcome joy, authenticity, vulnerability, and the opportunity to evolve our thinking so that we may evolve our lives toward all that brings us more peace and happiness. And today we continue that exploration by thinking about our G.P.S, our guidance positioning system. We're going to take a few minutes out of our day to check in with our inner compass and to make sure that we are still journeying toward a deeper, fuller life. So the question presented today asked, are you still on the path? And there's some days when I just have to stop and think, am I still on the path? Some days I wonder if I even know where the path is. And some days I'm not sure if I even know where I'm headed, much less if I'm still on the path to get there. I mean, how can I know if I'm on the right path when I don't know where I want to go? Do you ever feel that way? Boy, a lot of people that I've talked to over the last several months have said that's how they're feeling. And I think a lot of people still do, maybe now more than ever, because this past 18 months has brought us so many changes and so much uncertainty, hasn't it? Many of us have been in that kind of heightened state of flight, fight, or freeze mode, which is really our natural physiological reaction that occurs when we perceive an event to be harmful, when we think that we're under attack or that our survival is threatened. And some days recently, even though maybe some of us have had a reprieve with the vaccines making us all feel a little bit safer and the ability to be out and about more in a safer way, I still find myself having to bring myself into a space of just living in the present moment so that I don't spin off the planet with all of the questions that I have about wondering what's ahead. And that's when I turned to my GPS. I mean, do you remember when GPS first came out? GPS, the global positioning system, that navigation system that uses satellites and lots of math that I don't understand to tell us where we're located on the planet. I mean, think about it. It's become so much a part of our everyday lives right now. It's in our cars, it's in our computers, it's in our cell phones. We don't really think of how incredible it is anymore. We kind of take it for granted. At least I do sometimes. But stop and think a minute about how awesome that really is. You just open your GPS app, it tells you right where you are. Type in an address or location, and it'll tell you how to get there. And if you make a wrong turn, it even tells you how to turn around and get back on the correct path to your destination. Amazing. I think that is so cool. Well, guess what? Each one of us has our own inner GPS. We can call ours a guidance positioning system because it offers us guidance on our path to better living. We might even call it our God positioning system because, as we know, we are the physical expression of God on earth, and wherever we are, God is. Ernest Holmes tells us that we are in partnership with infinite mind, the supreme intelligence, the universal creative order, and the all-perfect presence. This is God. It's our partner, source, our life. Throw yourself with complete abandonment and acceptance into its soft embrace, for it is closer to you than your very breath and nearer to you than your hands and feet. It is right where you are. It's right where you are. Spirit is closer than our breath and nearer than our hands and feet. I don't know about you, but that just feels so wonderful to me. It brings me such a deep sense of peace. Let's just bask in that for a minute. One of the core tenets of science and mind states that we believe the kingdom of heaven is within us, and that we experience the kingdom to the degree that we become conscious of it. And so, if we want to experience more of the kingdom, it behooves us to pause for guidance, to become conscious of that still small voice inside that is providing the true guidance in our lives. Because we only hear what we become conscious of. And Spirit has all of the guidance we could ever need, ready and waiting for us to be open to receive. The law of correspondence provides us with the ability to receive all of our good and that which we believe we can receive. So it is through the expansion of our consciousness that we are permitted more and more of the good stuff of life to be experienced. And one great way to do this is to stop, to S-T-O-P, to go into the silence, to take the time to be still and know that God is, know that Spirit is. To find the opportunity to truly experience this silence and to listen for guidance as the presence whispers its wisdom to us. S-T-O-P, silence, time, opportunity, and presence. Emerson says that there is guidance for each of us, and by lowly listening, we shall hear the right word. Place yourself in the middle of the stream of power and wisdom which flows into your life. And then, without effort, you are impelled to truth and to perfect contentment. With so much going on in the world around us, and with all of the upheaval that the last 18 months has brought, We can get so caught up in living only in the conditions of our lives. But it's when we get caught up in our material conditions that we more easily let our thinking get us on that tilt-a-whirl that puts us into that mental and emotional spin, right? And so another way to get out of that spin is to develop our SQ, our spiritual quotient. Spiritual quotient is a measure that looks at a person's spiritual perceptiveness. And it is just as important in our lives as our IQ, our intelligence quotient, and our EQ, our emotional quotient. Because while IQ looks at cognitive intelligence, EQ looks at emotional power in our personhood, but our spiritual quotient looks at our spiritual power. Delving into our spirituality increases our ability to be creative and to be aware and insightful. And really, all three, IQ, EQ, and SQ, are important and necessary if we want to be fully realized individual expressions of spirit. And so it's when we pause, when we STOP, that we develop deeper SQ abilities in our lives, stronger SQ muscles, maybe. I've just learned about this great blogger from India named Vidya Hatsangati. And she writes that human beings have 5 senses: sight, our eyes; hearing, through our ears; taste, through our tongue; smell, through our nose; and touch, sensatory. She says spirituality is the ability to recognize that there is an intelligence beyond our 5 senses. There is a universal power that creates and governs everything within and beyond the worlds that we know. And that power is omnipresent. It's always there. We can surrender to the supreme intelligence through our awareness. We call this universal power by different names, maybe as per our religious faith. Spirituality makes things easier for us to go through the life's journey with all its ups and downs. It makes our lives happier. You should check her out. Vidya Hattangadi, Vidyahttangadi. She has a great blog on everything from business management and marketing to spirituality and meditation. But as she illustrates in that saying, it is our connection to divine spirit, to the God within, that keeps us on track in our lives. Yes, sometimes our God positioning system wants us to recalculate our route. It wants us to let it lead us in a new direction where we can better fulfill our own unique and individual expression of spirit. Remember when I asked earlier, are we still on the path? Well, here's a message that is just as much for me as it may be for you. Instead of being stressed about what's around the next bend, instead of trying to guess which path to take to reach our destination the fastest, let's just take time to stop, to STOP, and to completely abandon ourselves into the soft embrace of spirit. Let's let our God positioning system lead us, knowing that we cannot go wrong, for we are constantly guided and supported to live our best lives on a loving and peace-filled path. The path always leads us to an opportunity to expand and to grow. We just have to keep checking our GPS to make sure we're traveling where it leads. And if we feel we have detoured off into the desert, we can always jump right back on the path. All we have to do is make conscious connection with the divine within, because that divine within is our steadfast true north as we journey each day toward lives filled with deep contentment and the richness of love, peace, joy, and health. So this week, STOP. Go into the silence, take some time to be still and know God. Plan at least one opportunity every day to experience the presence and listen as it whispers its wisdom to you. Develop your spiritual quotient and keep following the path laid out by your divine GPS. The light of God will light your way, and in spite of any obstacles or pitfalls, no matter how many U-turns we may need to make, life will continue toward the loving, joyous, and peaceful experience that Spirit intends for us to have and to be in our time here on earth. Let's just take that into prayer. We just take that deep breath. We take that deep breath and we breathe in. We breathe in the idea of going into the silence, taking time to be still and knowing God, to making opportunities to be in the silence, to be in the stillness, and to rest in the presence that God is, that divine power, that divine essence that is all that we are. That divine power and presence that heals and prospers and transforms, that brings joy, that is joy. Because when we fall into its loving embrace, all we can know is peace and love and joy, deep contentment. Endless prosperity. All good. And so I know that wherever we are on or off our path today, that we can fall into this embrace, that we can make time for this presence, because it will lead us on. It will light our way. It will show us the way to fuller, richer, deeper lives. And so I claim this for each and every person joining us today. I claim the ability to make this conscious connection. I claim for myself a commitment to taking time each day to pause and rest, to dive in, embrace, and relax into this divine presence. I'm so grateful for this knowing. I'm so grateful for this teaching. I'm so grateful for a pause, a breath, the stillness, the silence. And most of all, I am grateful for this divine presence, which is always at work in my life, in every life, that we may lean into it and know a better life right here and right now. And if you would like to claim any or all of this for yourself, please join me in saying, and so it is.